My question is, since when is sexual bondage, which is going to be taught to your child in a public school, a civil rights issue? Make no mistake, this radical sex ed framework is not about education. It's not about biology. It's just plain old indoctrination. Did you guys hear about California's new health education framework? This is going to be taught to students, kindergarten through 12th grade, in public schools in the state of California. Have you heard about this? This is new in the last year. The California Board of Education introduced this last summer. And I want to give you a brief overview of what exactly this is. In the summer of 2019, the California State Board of Education introduced a new framework for sex education in public schools in our state. Under this framework, children in kindergarten, so how old is that, 4 or 5 years old? Under this framework, in kindergarten, teachers are encouraged to talk to your 5-year-old child about gender identity and transgenderism, just to make sure that your kindergartner knows that she can be a boy if she wants to be a boy. Under the guidelines of this new framework, in public schools all across the state, in middle school, teachers will be talking to your 11-year-old about masturbation, telling your preteen that masturbation is perfectly healthy, perfectly normal, perfectly okay. Fast forward to junior high and high school, teachers are encouraged to teach your teenager from a book called SEX, the All You Need to Know Sexuality Guide to Get You Through Your Teens and 20s. This book gives descriptions about anal sex and about bondage. Now, any functioning adult with the barest basic knowledge of biology knows that the safest safe sex practice to avoid pregnancies and STIs is abstinence, right? Well, the new California Board of Education framework to teach kids about safe sex teaches them that safe sex does not mean abstaining from sexual activity until you're married. This framework teaches that safe sex means it's okay to do oral sex or anal sex or any sexual behavior that cannot get you pregnant. That is what the state defines as safe. Furthermore, this California state framework encourages teachers to talk to your teenager about LGBTQ relationships and teaches them about puberty, not from a scientific or a biological standpoint, but in a way that, quote, creates an environment that challenges binary concepts of gender. And here's the kicker. For the most part, parents have no power to opt out of this radical leftist indoctrination, this explicit, this graphic sex ed. Technically, parents can opt out of the sex education part, but parents cannot opt out of the material that teaches about gender, gender identity, gender expression, and sexual orientation. So it is a technicality. And the justification for this extreme and graphic sex ed being fed to your kids in public schools, the director of curriculum frameworks and instructional resources at the California Department of Education, her name is Stephanie Gregson, she says, and I quote, "I think that people hear the word transgender or gender identity in guidance for kindergarten through grade 3, and they think the worst. It's really about civil rights issues," end quote. My question is, since when is sexual bondage, which is going to be taught to your child in a public school, a civil rights issue? Make no mistake, this radical sex ed framework is not about education. It's not about biology. It's just plain old indoctrination. It's brainwashing your children to advance a far-leftist political agenda.